Hi everybody, my name's Shauna, also known as onenanana. Welcome to my channel of Whatnots, and I'm here today to talk to you about fibers. Yay! I am doing this in response to Knitty Natty's latest podcast. I'll link it down below. Someone there had a question about fibers and different fiber types and fiber substitutes, and I wanted to make this response immediately. I haven't even finished the whole vlog of Knitty Natty, so I want to get back to that. Again, first of all, my name's Shauna. You can find me on Ravelry, Instagram, pretty much anywhere on the internet as onenanana. And before I get into everything, a couple tips. If you find that I'm speaking too fast or too slow, typically right up here, I think, there's maybe it's down here somewhere. There's a couple dots or a setting symbol. You can click on that and select a playback speed. So some YouTubers I like to speed up to 1.25, some I like to slow down to 0.75. I'm not telling you which one's which because maybe you're watching, but I enjoy you anyway. I just like to go faster or slower. If you find that with me and that's helpful, give me a thumbs up. And also today, again, just to go over what I'm going to be talking about is the 3 different fiber types and then the different fiber characteristics. Stick around. So a little bit about me again. My name's Shauna, also known as onenanana. You can find me on Instagram, Ravelry, pretty much anywhere. Onenanana, that's me. And my background is I'm an environmental engineer. I got a degree in environmental engineering, and so I'm literally just talking to you based off of memory and what I know. I didn't do a ton of research for this episode, but I will update this channel with this type of research in the future. So if this is interesting to you, go ahead, like, subscribe, and stick around, because I've talked about this in some of my vlog posts before, and I will get into it just in depth here without talking about my projects in particular. So I wanted to talk about the 3 different fiber types. There is plant, animal, and synthetic, or like, you know, plant, animal, mineral. And so what's important to remember is that those 3 are the basis of our yarn. So I have examples right here. So synthetic would be a polyester. It's man-made. It's something that, you know, came from a machine and was chemically made. So this is 100% polyester, and it's bulky yarn. This is actually Bernat? Still, I'm not sure. This is the blanket yarn. Super soft, super squishy, lots of structure to it. Very, actually, you wouldn't think it, but very homogeneous, meaning it's the same every time. You're going to get the same fiber type of yarn throughout the whole skein, throughout the whole ball. And if you go buy another ball, it's gonna be very similar to this one, especially if it's the same color. So yeah, acrylic, nylon, polyester, other things I'm not thinking of right now, those are going to be your synthetic materials. And I'll get into more about that in a little bit, but essentially each material, I'm checking my show notes right now, each material has what I call a different type of fiber character. So like acrylic, polyester, and whatnot, because they're synthetic, they're man-made, they tend to be less irritating to sensitive skin. A lot of people are less allergic to synthetic materials. So if there's a sensitivity or an allergy concern, synthetic fibers are kind of the way to go. And so next I have up is, I'm gonna do plant. Sorry, yeah, plant. This is just 100% cotton. This is the sugar and cream, 100% cotton. And, you know, it's like a crafter's cotton. There's different types of plant-based yarn. Just gonna hold this up so you can see it. One thing that immediately I thought of when someone was asking about the different fibers is that the characteristics of these three different types are very different on a cellular level. So the cotton, the plant, for example, along with bamboo, trying to think of anything else, you know, tencel, lysol, all these cell-based ones, based off of plants, their cellular structure is very long and flat, like very long and stringy. And so the cells of plants kind of stack on top of each other. And again, I'm just going based off of memory from my college days. I haven't done a ton of research on this. So that's what I recall. Whereas the synthetic blends, like I said, will go ahead and have more structure because they're man-made. Their cells are going to be very uniform. So they're going to be more like building blocks. Versus this is 100% superwash merino wool. Look at how fuzzy it is. And this one, I think it's a 3 or 4 ply. I think it's a 3 ply. This is a sport weight, so kind of like a DK weight, if you will, of just 100% wool. So this is the animal type fiber. And the important thing to remember about animal fibers is they're more globulous. They like stick together in chunks. So plants are flat and long. The synthetics are like building blocks, and the wool, alpaca, merino, mohair, all the animal-based fibers are going to be very blobby. They're soft, squishy. Obviously they have a lot of warmth, and they are very breathable because they kind of just clump together. So yeah, there's different characteristics to each type of fiber. So there's the properties, whether it's, like I said, wicking or you know, causes allergies, the actual strength of the fiber itself. So when you take this and you pull on it, you know, this is the synthetic. I mean, I'm pulling pretty hard here and it's just staying. So because that's synthetic, again, the building blocks, if I did that to the wool, it would snap right apart. But the interesting thing about wool, it is also able to repair itself. So if you get a piece of wool fiber wet, oh, perfect, it fell off. So this is kind of gross, but like if you lick it and you take the wool fiber, you lick it and twist it, it mats together just like dreadlocks or something. So I don't know if you can see that, but wool is what I call a self-healing fiber because it will repair itself. And so again, these are just different properties of each type of fiber. And then there is what I call the eco impact, the environmental impact of each fiber. I think wool has a tendency to be more sustainable because you can shear that sheep again and again and again till it dies. Whereas something like acrylic is forever. It's hard to make, it's hard to recycle, and then it's there. And that's important when you're working on a project. You kind of want to think about the life cycle of that project. Let's say you're making a baby blanket. Well, maybe you do want to make it in acrylic because you want it to be passed down again and again and again, versus making yourself a summer tank top or a tank top for a gift for someone, then making it out of cotton or wool where you know it's going to wear down, you know it's going to break down, is probably not a bad idea because it's that slow fashion. You're making it for one person and they're going to wear it until it kind of falls apart. So when you're picking yarn for your project, it's these characters that you kind of want to think about. And again, I will get more into these characteristics in more videos. And so lastly, one of the other characteristics that you want to go ahead and consider is the use of whatever yarn you're going to use in that project. So a great example is this 100% cotton. So just a sturdy crafter cotton versus this is also 100% cotton, and it's just a different type, a different size, calls for a different gauge. You know, the weight of the yarn is different. So while these are both cotton, they're two very different types of yarn. So when you think about substituting fibers one for another, one resource that I have found that I've really appreciated is called yarnsub.com. Again, I'll link it. And you can kind of see how you can trade out different types of yarn, but all those different types of characters, the project use, the life cycle of the project, and the properties, whether it's the wicking, breathing materials, the allergy sensitivities, the strength of the yarn, those all need to be considered. So it's not just a simple, you know, hey, I'll swap something out really quick here. Socks are a great example. Wool, 100% wool socks are not quite the best. I mean, they are great for, you know, wicking out the moisture and not being all hot and sweaty on your feet. But without a nylon blend, they don't actually have a lot of strength. So as you're pounding your foot on your sock, it wears out that wool. And even though that wool is trying to repair itself, it's getting the friction from your foot next to your shoe or the ground or whatever. And so it starts wearing away faster without that, again, structural synthetic nylon fiber that's woven in. Once you have that, then the wool's like, oh, I have nylon, I can repair myself around the nylon and stay a sock longer, versus a cotton sock, which then has a whole different set of properties and characteristics. And so what's most important is that you love your yarn, you love your projects, and that you're happy with what you're doing. And if I can help you in a little bit of this education about fiber types and whatnot, that is what I'm passionate, that's what I will do. I'm here for you to help with that, and talk about my other Whatnots. Thank you so much for joining me and learning a little bit about fiber today. Take care.